ugly corner. All right, Bant Bugler. Various iterations of this were floating around the format towards the start. I like what Bugler's doing in here. So we've got the Wildgrowth Walker package, which is obviously very good. We've got Deputy of Detention, then we have Tristani and Hydroid Krasis, and we've got a smattering of just like the best removal white has to offer, along with a couple Viviens as a powerful Planeswalker. Let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here and see how they go. Did they update the sleeves? Depends on how long it's been since you've seen Just a Box. So the sleeves that we're playing with were in the first introduction of sleeves. They're the animated sleeves from the various guild packs that you can buy. I mean, this hand is 100% foil, so it's an easy keep, right? I might like hem and haw and then end up keeping this anyways on the play. On the draw, I think this hand is more than fine. If we hitting a second land there means the hand's just like quite absurd. Just get to go like Elf into Elf Walker into Walker Jadelight Ranger. Excellent. Never didn't have them. So, like, we hit the 5th land here, too, like a total professional. So, next turn, we're going to get to go Walker into Jadelight. Just, like, send the Texas Rangers on in. Enigma Drake me, baby. Wow, that's incredibly rude. Huh. Huh. Alright, well, I'm definitely playing this. The question now becomes, do I want to Baffling End this Elf or not? I feel like they are probably playing Luis Scott Vargas's build from the PT with the 1 main deck and Transing Melody, which means this Baffling End doesn't actually have that many targets in their deck, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just take their Elf away here. We will likely be playing a lot of Super Friends, I agree. I concur. Alright, how do you feel about me? How does me gaining 12 sound? Does that sound good? Triggers. Get a 2/1, draw 2 cards, gain 12, pump the board by 4. Yeah, it seems fair and balanced. Very, very reasonable. Decent exchange. Bugle Boy. So I've got 2 Deputies of Detention in my deck, so I'm going to go ahead and dig, or 3, I'm going to dig for one of those. Roses are red, Jace is blue. My favorite Magic meme is you. Gunthor, thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around here. What excellent poetry. I'm going to go ahead and take this trade here, because it means these are lethal next turn. Like, they're probably going to flip me the bird this turn anyways, but knocking them to 6 seems worthwhile. If this deck is good, maybe I'll play this on Thursday, just because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Do do do. Do 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 do. I don't have any poetry for you, but thanks for the streams. Well, thanks for the 2 months, Scary Guy. Hey, appreciate the support. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Love hanging out, even if I'm not in chat all that often. Keep up the great content. Well, thanks for the 4 months, Captain. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. TK87, thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. Which card is the Pig God? If you look at the full spoiler, it's obvious. I forget what his actual name is, but trust me when I say it's obvious. All right, so Ixalan's Binding for Baffling End is good here because I don't think Baffling End really has targets in their deck. Is Shalai something I want to board in here? I feel like it might be. How do we feel about Shalai versus Tristani? Shalai protecting Deputy is real. I like Vivien for shooting Crackling Drakes. And, like, I can activate Shalai, which is reasonable. What's the website for spoilers? Scryfall.com. Mythic Spoiler, there's a bunch of them. I think Goldfish maintains a spoiler page as well. Mythic Spoiler is the one in my experience that has them updated the fastest of all the options. Unfortunately, this hand has one non-foil card in it, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan here. This hand's, like, not amazing, but it's fine. I'm going to bottom this Hinterland Harbor. Bottoming the Hinterland Harbor there feels a little bit bad if we draw exactly Jadelight Ranger, because I don't have a second green to cast that, but... we have a lot of green sources in our deck, so the chance of not finding another one. The Hinterland Harbor bullying continues. It is also incredibly ugly and not foil, which is like another reason to ship it to the bottom of your deck. And now that I've like exposed your eyeballs to this hideous piece of Magic the Gathering, I'll embrace the sleeves for a moment. Embrace the sleeves. Embrace the sleeves. Wow, alright. We bottomed it because it's ugly. The Dude Rants! Thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's see if there is a Lava Coil in my future. So, it's awkward. I don't really want a Deputy of Detention this, because if they kill this Deputy, they get to draw another card when the Drake re-enters. So I think that's not good for me. Dorox, almost at a year indeed. Thank you for the 11 months. Welcome back. Murmuring Mystic. Yikes. Alright, didn't get Spell Pierced. Do you have a dive down? Probably dead to a dive down, honestly. All right, we're doing okay here. I've got Deputy to tag this later. Shock's really good. I have Branchwalker to work with the Wildgrowth Walker. I'd love to hit like an Ixalan's Binding or a Conclave Tribunal for this Murmuring Mystic. I like the prioritization here from my opponent. They're worried more about that gaining me health than they are about getting their 2-2 back here, because their 2-2 doesn't attack very well into the Wildgrowth Walker anyways. Shalai. That's not a terrible draw. All right, so I'm going to lead on Branchwalker here. Nah, because the Vivien's going to plus Hardicus, and this might actually get rid of these bird tokens, depending on how this ends up going. I should have shocked in the Hallowed Fountain here, obviously. I gave them a little bit of extra information that I didn't have to give them there. Because, like, I'm hoping to draw, like, a Conclave Tribunal or something like that, so that way I can Deputy these and then exile this. Hydroid Krasis. Alright, so I think we just play this for 4. Get this tapped. No attacks. Now, the downside to playing this for 4 is if they have a Lava Coil, it's not great for me, but I think if they had a Lava Coil, they would have gotten this back already. Well, I think I'm just hanging tight for now. May I have a timeout, Roz? Of course. Thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub and for the 12th month. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around here. So I'm holding this deputy because I want to play this deputy to get rid of all the birds after I hit a removal spell for the Murmuring Mystic. And this is the downside to not shocking the turn I played that, is now they get to Lava Coil my 4/4. Smiley, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hey, look, a distraction. Hydroid Krasis. And I think at this point I'm going to try and tag these birds. Two doors. I think I might have missed that. Thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. Bottoms up. Believe it or not having 4 Krasis in this deck is probably a mistake. I think we're going to try and fit a 4th one in after this game. That is a decent draw.
Balance comes.
I am not manually running Twitch ads. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I just do this for 8. Next turn, I get to go Shalai into Wildgrowth into Jadelight. I got Vivien ticking up here, too. I have one more Deputy in my deck that can help clean out these bird tokens if they get too out of control. But honestly, Shalai, Jadelight, Wildgrowth might just be enough. No, I haven't heard anything, Frags.
Knows the wilds like I do.
Oh, that's a good one. Just all my Jadelights have been draw twos today. I don't know. They're so close to dead here, right, Zach? They're so close to dead. Like, this also means by taking the birds out of play here, they have to shock the Vivien or die. Because the Vivien's gonna emblem next turn. So like if they don't have a shock for the Vivien, the game's over. And if they do have a shock for the Vivien, I'm still like super far ahead. It's probably just like a build our own adventure book at this point, but all right, we have a game.
You'll have to do better than that. Meet my newest friend.
There's a 3rd Krasis in my deck, right? Pretty sure there's a 3rd Krasis in my deck. Squadron Bugler, I choose you. Alright, sweet. Turns out I was right. Figure it out. Alright. I mean, like, Blue-Red Drakes isn't really a meta deck anymore, but that was definitely sweet. V-Ball, thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate the half a year. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, let's put a 4th Hydroid Krasis in here. Let's fix... What are we cutting? Where does the 4th Hydroid Krasis fit into all this? Yeah, it could just be a Baffling End trim. That was where my gut was gonna go. My stomach wanted to trim Baffling End, and usually my stomach and I are on good terms, so I don't know that I want to piss it off. Just run 61. I definitely want 4 of these in the 75. Probably trim Ixalan's Binding. I don't think this card's actually that good. Alright. Onward, upward, backward, forward. Yeah, I think it's super reasonable. Still watching and still hoping Modern gets shaken it up enough to enjoy. What's going on, Kung Fu Fish Cake? Thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. You know, to be fair, I don't dislike Modern. I just dislike playing bad decks in Modern because the bad decks feel bad to get beat up with. Decks like Hardened Scales, Death Shadow, things that are genuinely good, they've been a good time to play. We played Hardened Scales a couple times the last week, and it's been fantastic both times. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I want to hit some lands, but like I'm guaranteed to hit a land next turn anyways, and then Jadelight digs me the following turn. Getting this to a 4-3 isn't terrible. Mr. Stanky, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to shock this in because some of these Wilderness Reclamation decks have been playing Syncopate. And I think there's a good chance my health total doesn't really matter here. So I'd like to prioritize getting my creature into play. I feel personally attacked by what you just said about Modern, and I blame you for everything. What's going on, Hippity? We actually... Did you see our last JAC League, Hippity? That was actually another one that was really good, because that's a good, sweet, linear Modern deck. Thank you for the 11 months, bud. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Ratman, thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. Are you going to run the new Hexproof Elf in JAC? I don't think so. I don't think that deck really wants more 2-mana creatures. I'm like, Sylvan Curated gets the pass because it's an 0-3, which means it blocks meaningfully a lot of the time. How is the Dino deck? Quite excellent. Was an A plus meme for sure. It's like Curated. Yeah, exactly, Hippity. And it doesn't have the benefit of birds of, like, being a great one-drop. This is the part where they fog us out of the game, right? So I think I'm supposed to attack with everything, because if I leave this back to try and cast a bigger Krasis this turn, I don't kill them through blink of an eye. I'm like, obviously there's a good chance they have fog here, but I think I like, as much as I would like to draw 2 with this turn, I think I'm supposed to supposed to do that. Alright, hopefully we get another turn. And the real question, will we get a combat step on one of these turns? Or we actually deal damage? Wow, I didn't play around double Revitalize. Definitely was not a card on my radar. Yikes. Alright, well, we're dead. Magic. And that's one of those things where, like, if... Yeah, I didn't attack with the elf. If I attacked with Llanowar Elves, they wouldn't have got it. They wouldn't have lived with that. And, like, maybe they have a fog, so, like, it doesn't matter, but... I could have played around that. I don't know that I ever play around that without knowing the duck list heads up, though. Although I guess you could probably also argue that, like, there's not really value in me getting the Wildgrowth Walker triggered that turn, so maybe I am supposed to play around it. 65 cards. This is Wildgrowth Walker out here. I guess Tristani's not very good at my top end. And then maybe Bugler. Bugler's one of the cards that comes out. Yeah, so like I've got a lot of interaction here. The problem is that do I have enough ways to actually kill them once I go on this board plan? I don't know, Bugler finds Deputy and Knight, which are both interaction. I don't know, there's a chance this board plan's wrong. There's also a chance the sideboard just has too many cards for this matchup. Like, I'm not sure if these Ixalan's bindings belong in the sideboard, really. Yeah, it's hard to tell. So, like, Krasis is bad against their game 1 plan, but if they're on the sideboard plan of pivoting into creatures, Krasis gets a lot better. I think there's also a chance that the mix of Negates and Disdainful Strokes I have in my sideboard right now is wrong, because Disdainful Stroke is better against the creature plan they go on post-board sometimes. I think it's right to just axe their search for Azcanta ASAP here. And then next turn, I can... So this turn, I can play this plus hold up Negate, which is nice. I've been that. We're just looking for more disruption at this point. What's going on, Distinction? Thank you. Hope you're having a good start to your Monday. We got you, Ty. I also wonder if there's value in just, like, having jammed the Jadelight and then Conclave Tribunaling this, since I have Tribunal in my hand. I could see that being the case, too. So, like, my health total basically doesn't matter in this matchup, so I'm gonna go ahead and just shock this in for the bluff value. If it's a matchup where my health total does matter, I won't shock to bluff, but here I basically think it's irrelevant, so... It's possible I should just Conclave Tribunal this off the table, but because I drew the elf here, this means I do still have lethal on board next turn, which is nice. That being said, the Revitalize that kind of got us last game does mess up the math on how quickly I have lethal here, so there could be merit to Conclave Tribunaling their 2-1 aggressively, so that way I can push lethal through Revitalize next turn. I just play this as a 4-3. Yeah, I'm just gonna play this as a 4-3. Alright, and hopefully we get another turn. They could also have Cleansing Nova in their deck. Like they're playing Bant, so like some of these Bant decks like have actual sweepers. Playing the Knight of Autumn down is appealing because it means that they have Revitalize. We can kill them through that. The Nexus of Fate here is, like, annoying, but, like, ultimately it doesn't really do anything, right? So, like, letting them untap their lands and draw another card. So, until they have something like a Search for Escanta going, like, them just cycling Nexus of Fate, like, not a big deal. Yep. Survey says okay.
No time for a break.
I'm not attacking with this because I don't want to lose it to Settle the Wreckage. Alright, yep. Yeah, I think if I would have played her on double Revitalize, we'd have just 2-0'd them here. But we get a third game here, which is nice. The fact that they have... what's it called in their deck? Oh, I'm blanking on its name. Knight of Autumn makes me not want these Excellence Binding and want these Conclave Tribunals slightly less. I wonder if I just want more pressure. So what if I do this? Like, Wildgrowth Walker obviously, like, isn't impressive from the life gain standpoint, but from the make big creatures quickly standpoint, it's, like, pretty decent. And, like, this leaves me with 6 counter spells and then 8 ways to take enchantments off the table, plus, like, Bugler to find it. I think this might be okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. Hard to pass up turn 1 Llanowar Elves. This hand doesn't have anything that interacts in it, but Militia Bugler hopefully helps us find something that interacts. We have 6 creatures that take enchantments off the table in our deck to find. Hey, Sexy Noodle, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. I want to be deleted too. We got you. The 2/2 Hydroid Krasis, eh? Am I immune? Dr. Ew, that's cheating. You know you're immune. Deputy Detention's a sweet pull here because it means that they floop down a bigger Hydroid Krasis. This cleans up a lot of them. Teferi's annoying.
Let's slow this. Keep up the pace.
Genuinely wasn't sure. Okay, yeah, you're immune. In fact, if you try to time out a Twitch staffer, it tells you to contact Twitch support if someone's being abusive from their Twitch staff account. Alright, so the Negate's actually a good draw here, because it means I can kill Teferi with combat damage, because this Negate will counter their Root Snare. Oh, or that happens. I guess that makes sense. I think I'm okay with this. I think I just do this. think I just do this. And like, obviously I can get punished here, but I think this is right. Lim Nursery, thank you for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think because I have these knights in my hand, I'm just supposed to let this happen. Are there ever moments in a day where you realize I've been talking out loud at the screen for hours? So, to give you a little background on myself, I taught college math classes, and I spent a semester student teaching at high school math during my undergrad. So like when you teach those types of things, you're used to people just not responding ever. So like this really isn't that different. And like we might get Nexus plus counterspelled here. Yeah, exactly. This is second nature. This is the second time I felt personally attacked in 15, but I swear we're not just out to get you, Hippity. Actually, I'm going to send both of these here because I don't want them to have a bounce spell to save this.
Really should have seen that coming.
This is 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to lead on this to shatter the wilderness reclamation here. Quarth, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Maybe I'm just supposed to jam Vivien there, because if they had a negate, they probably would have negated me last turn, huh? Holding the Vivien is appealing though, because she can shoot Hydroid Krasis, but I guess this tags Hydroid Krasis too, right? A lot of different ways that turn could have gone. I think because I had 5 mana up there, maybe I was supposed to just Vivien. Vordal, thank you for the tier 2. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantabulous start to your week. Disdainful Stroke. Well, that's excellent. Well, Vivien could have poked the Wilderness Clowncopter. So, like, that's why I'm talking about it. It's like both Knight and Vivien poke the Wilderness. I think I just let this resolve. Do I? I think I just let this resolve. Dr. Ew, thanks for cashing in your Prime this way. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Thanks for helping make Twitch. I think the reason you didn't do well in the tournament wasn't the deck, but the disgusting game before. That's true. That's true. We did use up the majority of our cumulative variance the match before. And I have 8 mana here, right? So I can Deputy, Knight, and Disdainful Stroke here, which sounds quite excellent. I think Search for Azcanta is the most valuable here. Although we are still going to take the Wilderness Reclamation off the table. Now, they're not dead if they have Revitalize here, but we've done the best we can. We've solidly disrupted them here. It's possible I'm supposed to stroke this to stop a fog, but, like, Revitalize also gets us there, so I think I'm supposed to save this stroke for and take an extra turn. Man, is this a deck that I like that doesn't suck against Nexus of Fate? And Wilderness Reclamation? That would be sweet. Like, I feel like most of the decks I like playing just, like, eat it to the Nexus decks. This is Ben. That was a pleasant change of pace. Woo! This is the most valuable thing a meme streamer can open. Mythic wild cards. I know a lot of people have a rare wild card bottleneck. That's not the case when you're a meme streamer. Solid. Woo! Man, those packs were the stone cold nuts, chat. The stone cold nuts. 6 mythic, 91 rare wild cards. That streamer luck. Best boosters NA. It wasn't even just the counter spells though, right? Like we had negates, we had strokes, and we had the reclamation, the knights and the deputies of detention. Yeah, the problem is Camboni is good Nexus of Fate players don't care about Unmoored Ego, and you should probably be beating bad Nexus of Fate players regardless. Like a good Nexus of Fate player is going to be sideboarded in a way that your Unmoored Ego is irrelevant. Do you buy packs or spend wild cards first when a new set comes out? Usually I buy packs. All right, Esper. This is the real question. How do we do against Esper? Our deck has a lot of value in it, so maybe we're okay. A lot of our creatures draw other creatures, which is nice. People ask for timeouts because it's human interaction that they don't have to pay money for. A lot of the human interaction and acknowledgement on Twitch is like donation or sub or like bit-driven stuff like that. With a timeout, it says that we notice you and we care without you having to spend any money. That's true. You do have to be subbed now in order to get timed out, but you don't have to pay extra for us to notice you. Yes, notice me. Sodded Prola. I'm just going to say Sodded. Sodded, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Time me out and acknowledge those opinions. Please acknowledge my humanity. See, we time out because we care. We do it because we love. Biffed! Thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Why are you so angry all the time, Kaya? Why you have to be so mad? It's only a game. So you want a Bugler before you Branchwalker here because the... I think I just want Tristani here. Because if this puts a thing on top, I don't want a Bugler past it later. Yep. Ding. I genuinely think Esper is a very good deck. And there are a lot of very good Magic players who also think Esper is a very good deck, so... You know, am I just supposed to Hydroid Krasis here? It feels like they have to counterspell or interact with whatever I do, so casting the card that draws 2 even when they absorb it sounds appealing here. I think they're like absorbing whatever I cast here, so it might as well be absorbing something that draws cards. Although they might just have Kaya's Wrath too. Would Unbreakable have a home here to keep dudes alive from board wipes? I think we'd rather just have counterspells, Roughneck. Like, the counterspells serve double duty. They stop board wipes, and they do other things. Shuko, thanks for the Prime support. If MTGA remains popular, will building decks and collecting cards in the program be cheaper than physical cards? Esper Control is something like... Yeah, I mean, I think it's already cheaper. That's because Esper Control isn't a deck that makes for very good content, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with that opinion. Even when Esper Control is winning, it generates incredibly tedious games of Magic.
That didn't pan out.
Yeah, exactly. We don't play a lot of Nexus of Fate on this stream either for similar reasons. I guess... I think we're sliding into garbage time here. Again, Esper Control showing some of its power from the fact that we have dead cards in our deck game 1 here. Baffling End really not looking appealing. Yeah, you're definitely in the minority, Time Eddie. Alright, so those are all cards I'm pretty sure I don't want. Disdainful Stroke and Negate are great here. Knight of Autumn is fine. That seems reasonable. Trim a Wildgrowth Walker. I wonder if this deck wants some copies of Growth Chamber Guardian. That card's very good in matchups like this. Wonder if there's a way to fit that in. I feel like there's probably not. You have to trim, like, Removal or Tristani probably are, like, the flex slots. And that's one of the tough things about the Wildgrowth Walker, the Explore package, is, like, it takes so many slots in your deck that it pushes out a lot of other things that you could possibly be playing. You may want Baffling End for Thief Game 2. I think that's just too narrow, Blade. I think if anything, I'd want Conclave Tribunal because that takes care of Hostage Taker. But I think I'd rather fight the Thieves on the Tristani axis than anything else. I'm actually just going to be resource efficient here and play the Bugler. Playing the Branchwalker will let me hit for 1 more point of damage this turn, but I think I want to just spend my mana as much as possible, as often as possible. Oh, they don't have Absorb Mana up here. I don't know what the text box on New Ashiok is. Esper and Mistland drops. Name a more iconic duo. And, like, sure, they killed my Jadelight, but, like, that Jadelight drew 2 cards. And these Buglers are gonna draw cards. It's just like, well, what if we just keep, like, putting dorks into play that draw cards when we cast them? Love tap. Baby love tap, baby love tap. Do 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 do. Will they eventually expand into Commander and Limited? Magic Arena supports Limited. You can play Sealed and Draft on Arena. Jezreel, thank you for the 6 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm just gonna force Kaya's Wrath here. That doesn't sound particularly good, Time Lord. Sounds kind of narrow. The lands here actually aren't terrible draws because it means I get to put 3 threats into play here. Not looking for another one of those. Looking for, like, Bugler or Vivien or Hydroid Krasis at this point. Alright, so these are lethal threats. Mostly out of gas, though. Krasis is one of our better draws to let us gas back up from this point. Any removal spell keeps them alive here. But then, once they play a removal spell, I get to resolve Jadelight Ranger, which means they're still just, like, treading water until they hit a sweeper. They're gonna end up at 5. I think that's not one of the powerful cards I just listed. I think I'm supposed to keep that. Keeping this is bad when they cast Kaya's Wrath this turn. But, like, if they don't have Kaya's Wrath this turn, this card probably slam dunks the game. Got it. Oh boy, Merlin. Thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Yeah, I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded here. Now, I'd be pretty surprised if Modern ever came to Magic Arena. I also think a large chunk of people are going to care less about Modern coming to Arena once we get a new non-rotating format in the fall. I think a lot of people just want a non-rotating format, and they don't care specifically about Modern so much as they just want something. Cry me a river, baby. Great. That bodes well for the home team. I think boarding in enchantment removal against the Mortify deck is very wrong. What does Bugler mean in the deck name? Militia Bugler. References one of the cards the deck is playing. Manasheen, thank you for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, same Ty. I'm pretty moderned out personally. Little bit here and there is fine, but overall I'm definitely super ready for something new as opposed to just more modern. Hopefully the stroke locks this up. They need like discard spell this turn. No, they're actually just dead, right? I guess they can have like a cast down here to stay alive, or Moment of Craving keeps them alive for a turn, but they're mostly just treading water. Why leave stroke up when the opponent only has 3 mana? That's a good point. Is this lethal? This is not lethal, right? Let's just do this. I guess this is bad. This is bad. I'm just, like, giving them the chance to, like, draw a land and Kaya's Wrath me. Should probably just pass with the Disdainful Stroke up here. They could also, like, Hostage Taker me. This was a bad play on my part. Looks like we're not getting punished for it because this is a no justice stream, but I think I played that turn wrong. It'd be nice to get a new format, but wouldn't it be very similar to... It would be similar to this standard Come Eat Pizza, but it would be different than the standard format once things rotate. Also, they have sets all the way back through Kaladesh programmed on Arena, and we'll likely see them back add those 4, 5, or 6 sets, however many sets they have programmed that aren't currently in Arena, that they already have programmed. So that would make it distinct as well. I just want to, like, sit here and think about this for a minute. I really want 4 Growth Chamber Guardians in this deck. I just feel like I don't have room for it. As someone who was very anti-Kaladesh in Arena for a long time, I've come around to... Let's put those cards into this format, because at this point, they can't possibly be worse than Wilderness Reclamation, right? Like, I know those are potentially famous last words, but I can't imagine it's worse than playing against Wilderness Reclamation. I don't think these Ixalan bindings are that good in the sideboard. And I kind of think I want to slide these over here. And that's 2 cards. Why do I want Growth Chamber Guardian? Because it's just a good magic card. It's a good magic card that, like, works with Militia Bugler. I can, like, board all the Baffling Ends. I don't hate that, because, like, this is a similar spot on the curve to Baffling End, which is pretty reasonable. Tribunal over Ixalan's Binding, because this card, you can use your creatures to convoke it out. We have a lot of creatures in our deck. This is 12, 15, 18. Yeah, this seems okay. There's, like, pushing towards just, like, green Splash Bugler and Krasis. And Deputy, like, these are all, like, reasonable cards, right? This doesn't seem unreasonable. Seems fine. And maybe the Growth Chamber Guardians don't feel good, and I'd rather just have more top end like Tristani, but I want to try it because Growth Chamber Guardian's like a powerful card. I kind of like what this deck is doing. I could see playing this on Thursday. Thoughts on a Domri Bugler deck? I don't know that Naya in general has the tools to be super successful in this format. Like, I think, like, Deputy Detention and Counterspells are much better than, like, Domri and whatever your red cards are adding from the sideboard. Two-drop here is a good draw. My hand, like, had good spells in it, but was missing a play on 2. Can you compare the power levels of Growth versus Tristani and why you're preferring Growth Chamber Guardian? Well, one, I don't know that I prefer Growth Chamber Guardian. Magic the Gathering is a game with a lot of variables in it, and a lot of the times you need to actually play games with the cards and experiment to figure out what you prefer. Two, you don't usually just compare the power level of cards directly to each other because cards don't exist in a vacuum. The power level of things is dependent on a variety of variables. So there's going to be positions in games and different matchups where Tristani is better and Growth Chamber Guardian is better. Zombie Token, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I want to lead on Bugler here because Bugler can find Wildgrowth Walker, and if I find Walker, these Jadelights then become better. I don't think I'm quite ready for Hydroid Krasis here. Growth Chamber Guardian seems fine. Thank you for the consistently good and different content from other streamers. Well, thanks for the 2 months, Blade or Raid. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Might as well attack here, right? Digitech Wire, thanks for the 11 months. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. And Seraph42, thanks for shipping your Beza books back this way again, folks. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. So they are stumbling and bumbling over there. So I want more lands. A Bugler, because Bugler could hit Llanowar Elves. Could also hit Wildgrowth, or could also hit Texas Ranger to make these Explorer creatures better. Red aggro slash burn deck. Nah, aggressive decks are great. And if I think a deck genuinely makes bad content, I'll just tell you that I don't feel like playing it, or it's not something I'm interested in playing. I am nothing if not honest. I think I just want to double explore here. Maybe it's just Bugler again. Like digging for a Wildgrowth Walker. This Vraska's a little concerning. I might want this to go over the top later. Deputy of Detention could potentially help us clean up the tokens Vraska puts down. I guess I can Conclave the Vraska this turn. It's like not amazing against exactly Vivien, but... or Trophy, but I think that's fine in general.
Next time we meet, you won't be so lucky.
If they play like another Krasis, my Deputy of Detention is good here. Sweet. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with Jadelight Ranger. And Deputying Krasis is great because it means that if my opponent kills this, these return as 0/0s and get discarded. Realize I'm never going to be gifted a sub because my name starts with a Z. Thanks to the great gods and the great work. The sub gifts are fully random, I believe. Maddie Jax, I am back. Thanks for keeping me around. Happy Monday. And this is, again, the tough part about playing against Sultai is, like, you basically just can't race them because of Wildgrowth Walker. I did so well in the tournament last week that I decided not to upload the matches to YouTube afterwards. Land! Land! Alright, well, we're not ditching another Krasis. I did stream the matches. I just got slaughtered in a bunch of games that weren't particularly interesting or competitive, so I decided not to upload it afterwards. In spite of my crap performance, the folks who are running the fandom tournament invited me back again this week, so I'll be playing in their tournament again on Friday, or Thursday. Now, my opponent could be setting up for a finality here. So if they, like, kill... oh, they have trophy. Gross. And, like, now I have to choose... I think I want to get the land here. I have to shuffle this Hydroid Krasis away that's on top of my deck, but I think I want the land. Yeah, the fandom event's going to be a weekly tournament. I don't know that I'm going to play it every week, but it's going to happen every week. So if you like competitive tournament magic, that's definitely a sweet thing to be checking out. What deck am I playing this week? I don't know. Maybe this one?
My crew is the finest in the seas.
I'm leaving Standard soon if I'm not heavily invested yet. Every time rotation happens, I learn that myself and other people have very, very different definitions of what constitutes soon. Like Standard's not rotating for, like... a while. In my opinion, it's not rotating until October. Like, that's 6 months from now. Maybe I'm just used to, like, the time frame my 3- and 5-year-old are used to. Like, soon to them is, like, a minute and a half from now. So it's weird, in my opinion, to say things are going to rotate soon. If, in my honest opinion, if you would define rotation happening soon right now, Standard's probably not a good format for you to play. And that's okay. Like, not everybody has to enjoy Standard. But, like, if you think this current rotation is, like, happening soon, rotation is basically always happening soon. So, like, is it worth trading my 3-2 to smack this to 1? I think it is. Because by smacking this, I guess I'm trading by 4-3. By smacking this, I'm making sure they can't downtick on my Krasis next turn. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna make this a 7-7. My health total doesn't really matter here. Vivien probably dead here, and this is so like this has been my experience with these Bant mid-range decks in the past, and like Sultai is kind of at like an all-time low in terms of format popularity, so like maybe it's an okay time to be playing these decks, but in my experience, these non-Sultai green mid-range decks just get destroyed by Sultai because Sultai just draws way more cards they could ever dream of drawing. You've fallen into my trap, Hogland. After 3 years, I have finally acquired the map to your fortune. What's going on, Marty? Thanks for keeping me around. You thought about splashing black and taking out the white? Yeah.
The wilds are my shield.
Honestly, if I wanted to play a deck that's just a good deck to win, the Sultai deck with Growth Chamber Guardian's probably a pretty good choice. We played a little bit of that on stream and I really liked it. And like 4 went the Llanowar Elves. It was a little bit bigger. Yeah, I agree, Panza. That's why, like, Teamer Climb could be a reasonable choice, too. The Elder Spell seems to ruin the dreams for Super Friends. Nah. That runs on the basis that Super Friends decks are popular enough to, like, warrant playing Elder Spell in the first place, which there's a good chance they're just not. That was not the removal spell I wanted to draw there, so we are just dead. If anything's going to ruin the dream of Super Friends decks, it's going to be a card called Wilderness Reclamation. That's the dream killer you're looking for, is Wilderness Reclamation. How many Super Friends variations are in the queue? I don't know offhand. And however many are listed, there's probably more waiting to be added, because I did not respond to deck queue submissions over the weekend. Do I want Wildgrowth Walker, or do I want Baffling End? I think I want Baffling End in my deck. Although maybe this is just better. Yeah, Conclave Tribunal is probably better because it kills Hostage Taker. Yeah, it kills Hostage Taker. Nah, usually, mid-range and control decks can be built in a way to allow them to respect the aggressive decks and have a chance, but generally speaking, you just don't have a chance against decks like Wilderness Reclamation. The tools you have to interact with them are generally too narrow. And, like, they have cards like Blink of an Eye and other anti-interaction tools that allow them to play through your disruption. You just don't kill them fast enough with your pile of Planeswalkers. Alrighty. Again, like, this hand's, like, good, and it's, like, kind of aggressive on the play, but it's not aggressive enough to win through Wildgrowth Walker most of the time, because that card just gains infinite amounts of health. And, like, Bugler's a hard sell in this matchup, too, because it's a card that... What's the word that I'm searching for? It is a card that, like, the 2/3 body isn't super relevant. I think I just try and get aggressive here with my removal spell. I think I just Conclave Tribunal this and smack them for 4 and hope I can run them out of the game before they get set up. Because, like, as the last game showed, as these games go long, my opponent's deck is incredibly favored to win because they just generate more value as the game runs on. I think if I can kill them early, I have the better chance of winning. John Doe, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me here. Maybe I'm supposed to take Deputy of Detention there. I don't know. Deputying Explore creatures is like a little bit loose. They can just get them back. Not gonna offer this trade, I don't think. Oh, do we get another tool for walls? I love that they're, like, pushing that as, like, a somewhat playable archetype. Boneless Wing, thank you for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Okie doke. They have a cast down. They can, like, cast down and then double trade here. Like, go trade Z's, trade Z's. We're pretty far behind then. Navara, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The old 3/3 Hydroid Krasis. I guess it blocks Branchwalker. Opponent correctly identifying the only way they lose this game is if I aggro them out. They're taking steps to not get aggroed out. I think I take Krasis here because Krasis is likely to draw me into gas next turn. Things like Growth Chamber Guardian. Questions like WeMax and Chewy just asked there. It's not that I didn't see your questions when I don't answer questions like that. It's just that I don't feel like questions like that lead to meaningful discussions. Like, they're basically asking me to predict the future. And, like, I'm notably bad at predicting the future, so I try to avoid doing it. And, like, making random wild guesses like that just doesn't really feel productive when I do it. Warcraft Nerdy, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And again, like, we're almost getting close to aggroing the Sultai player out, but they've got Wildgrowth Walker in place. They're going to cast, like, Jadelight Ranger next turn, and they're going to gain 6, and all of a sudden just, like, aggroing them out is, like, firmly off the table. Clown Copter, thanks for the 3 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm taking Legacy decks Punishing Waterfalls. I just raised the minimum price on them to 50 because that content's not very popular. So people haven't been submitting them because I raised the price. This is so awkward. What if I deputy and attack with everything? If I deputy and attack with everything, they, like, eat a 2/2, trade here, bounce here, take 5, 6, 7, 8. The problem is if I don't kill them on this attack and they have an Explorer creature, which is incredibly likely next turn, they get to Wildgrowth Walker. I'm pretty sure they can live through this attack. There's a lot of permutations here. I'm just going to take the Wildgrowth Walker off the table and then pass and get my 6/6 back here. It is a predicted question. Your question, Chewy, was literally, what do you think of this land getting printed in a future set? And, like, the answer to your question is, like, it's hard for me to know what the lands do in a future set when I don't know what the cards in that set are. So it's very much a, this getting printed in this future set, what's the outcome? It's like, literally, yeah, sorry, so. Like, Sleep looks okay on game boards like this, but there's a lot of other game boards where it just doesn't do much. And, like, again, here's exactly what I was talking about here. It looks like we're close to pressuring them out of the game. They're like, haha, JK, like, trigger Wildgrowth Walker. You can no longer kill me. This at least kills Vraska. Yeah, Esper's good right now because of the flexibility that it has, but we don't know what the next format's going to look like. There could be a chance these Planeswalkers make a huge splash, and then something like the Elder Spell is very good, but there's also a non-zero chance that the Planeswalkers have no meaningful impact, and then something like the Elder Spell is not relevant. Against decks like Sultai, for instance, the Elder Spell is often going to be worse than playing something like Vraska's Contempt, because Vraska's Contempt has the flexibility to kill things like Hostage Taker and Hydroid Krasis. And again, just like to go back to Magic's a really complicated game that you really can't predict the future of. Like, go back to any standard season and look at how many really good Magic players with lots of experience were wrong about their expectations of what cards were going to be good. At the end of the day, there is no replacement for just playing with the cards and practicing and gaining actual experience. There aren't shortcuts. There's too many variables. So, like, to say, will this removal spell that's very specific be good? It's like, you can't really know because we don't know what the format looks like.
Can't stop nature.
Well, people thought Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf, and Delver would be unplayable in Eternal formats. Well, to be fair, Delver's pretty unplayable in Modern. Yep. And now my board's smaller than theirs. And again, just like kind of reinforcing the fact that like this was a game where we couldn't aggro them out because Wildgrowth Walker was going on. And then we just are hopelessly behind in these long, grindy mid-range games because nothing beats their Hostage Takers, Finalities, and Hydroid Krasis. I'm going to play one more here. If we run into Sultai again, I'm probably not going to bother playing the match because I think Sultai is kind of hopelessly unwinnable for decks like this, which is the reason why I had ultimately settled on playing Temur as my kind of aggressive Wildgrowth Walker deck, because Temur with Hadana's Climb can steal games against Sultai sometimes, which is nice. Kind of punk them out if you would. So, like, here's the thing, though, Street Kings. I want to dissect your statement there. Elder Spell seems like it could be good in Esper Mirrors because killing your opponent's Teferi and gaining 2 loyalty on yours seems situationally good. If you already have a Teferi in play, you probably aren't gaining that much by putting 2 loyalty on it when you kill their Teferi. In fact, I would argue having the lack of flexibility to kill your opponent's, say, Thief of Sanity with something like Vraska's Contempt is a much bigger deal than getting 2 loyalty occasionally on your own Planeswalker is. I think the 2 loyalty on your Planeswalker is going to often be a situation of we're taking our good draw and making it better as opposed to being something that's relevant that's actually helpful. This is the part where they Chain Whirler me and I cry, right? That's the part of the game. They cast Chain Whirler next turn and we just like curl up into a little ball. Yep, definitely the part where they cast Chain Whirler. Oh, fist bump. My opponent's incredibly unlucky. My opponent's incredibly unlucky. Just the way I like my opponents. Incredibly unlucky. Yep. Oh, we are going to get slaughtered by this Chain Whirler when they hit a land. It might have been, it's probably greedy to not play this as a 5/5 this turn. But like, because they're going to like rip Red Source and then like clear my board with this Chain Whirler. Please continue being unlucky. Dang it, Bobby. Would I play Human or Tron at a large event this weekend? Humans, not close. Do 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 do. Any interest in seeing the lower curve, teamer, explore, climb, less work iron? Sure, W Hawk. Link it up. Tron just too slow. Nah, I've just got a little bit of self-respect when I show up to play in a paper tournament. How badly do I want to play around Shock? I think the answer is pretty badly. So I'm going to play this, but I'm not going to pop it off right away just in case they have Shock. Although the way it's auto-passing, it feels like they don't have it. Those silly people assuming you're playing on having a playable deck, nah. I'm like super into Spell Pierce. I don't know how I feel about Spellbreaker. Spellbreaker's not a card I've been a huge fan of. I don't hate Hydroid Krasis hanging out in the sideboard though. I'm going to take the Wildgrowth Walker since it potentially has a lot of upside in a matchup like this. Do I ever play the Commander format? I don't. I think Commander's too complicated to figure out a reasonable. You have to have like a lot of house rules to like make Commander be playable and functional for a group. When I play games casually, I tend to prefer board games as opposed to Magic. Like, I played so much competitive Magic for so long that like playing a format like Commander that's mostly a casual format isn't something that just like works with my brain very easily. I did not shoot the sheriff, but the deputy shot the phoenix. Do, 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 do. Hey, Toe Smasher, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. I appreciate the support. It's sweet to put Climb on. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's an avenue I hadn't explored. Alright, I think I Bugler to start here so I could find another deputy. Magic's really easy when you're lucky. If they block here, they die. Yeah. So they stumbled and fumbled a little bit too long there. I think Vivien's actually not very good in this matchup. I want a couple of Baffling Ends. I don't know how many Baffling Ends I want. I feel like it's at least a couple, but I don't know if I want to go all in on them. I feel like I might just want to trade the Viviens for the Baffling Ends and call it a day. I suppose cutting Llanowar Elves is probably not unreasonable in this matchup. And maybe I'm going to do that. Like, bring these in. Like, I don't hate this. Because, like, Llanowar Elves is, like, pretty awkward in the face of, like, their mid-range Chain Whirler deck. Yeah, let's do this. I feel like if I were to ever play Magic as like a party game, it would have to be something like the like box set commander decks where like, you know, they're well balanced against each other or something like that. Because like Magic's just not fun, especially in a casual setting, if like one deck's just slaughtering the other, right? Like you want some back and forth. If you want something that's kind of a Magic adjacent game as a party game, if you've never played Dice Throne before, that's a great, like, this is Magic adjacent in that it's a card-ish game, but it plays multiplayer reasonably and it's like decently balanced against each other. You've played that a couple of times with our board game group. Although it's a little bit more than cards, kind of like a Magic Yahtzee matchup. Minga Hamster, thanks for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Easy mulligan here. Darn shame because it's got 7 foils in it, but alas, we must play catch and release. This sounds great. I guess it wants both a 2-drop and a land. It's a very easy bottom there because there's neither of those things. Perfect. That's a 2-drop that might turn into a land. So, Dominion isn't in the same category as something like Dice Throne or Magic. So, Dominion is the genre that I would refer to as a deck building game. I think it's different than something like Dice Throne or Magic. The way a deck builder plays out. Dominion's like the OG of deck building games. Dominion goes into a category with things like Clank and Ascension, stuff like that. What are some of your 6+ player board games? Happy Pigs is a game that plays exactly 6 and would definitely be my #1 for games that can play up to 6. That game's great. What's the other? I think Menu... I can't remember if Menu Masters plays 6 or if it only plays 5. That is not the green source I wanted for Christmas. What's a great 2-player board game? Sagrada would be my recommendation for a 2-player game. Good 2-player games are hard to come by. But Sagrada does a pretty good job. That's one that Christy and I have played more than once. A lot of 2-player games like Christy and I finish and we're like, we're never playing this as a 2-player game again. How do you spell that? I think it's S-I-G Grada. It's a dice rolling / stained glass building game. Keyforge is has great gameplay mechanics with an idiotic distribution model. Do the kids ever join us for board games? They like to try, but my older one, who's 5, isn't quite into board games yet, and Declan doesn't quite understand following rules just yet. He'll get there. You ever played Root? I have not. I think I have a board game command. This has some of my, yeah, this tweet has some of my favorites generically in it. Oh, it's unfortunate that that came as late as it did. Shocking to go to 12 here is a little bit scary against the Phoenix in the air. Is there any reason my oldest doesn't, if I may ask? Jake's on occasion. Jake's a little more introverted. Declan's definitely the ham of the family. Alright, what do we got? They got one more spell in their hands here. Whirly Boy. That makes it difficult to kill this Vivien. Although, Hydra Boy could... Krasis could let me punch through next turn. So if they want to kill this next turn, they have to trade their Vivien to do it, so that's nice. We'd love it if they tick up and find, like, another Rekindling Phoenix. That way my Deputy can tag both birds, then my Krasis can kill their Vivien. It feels like they have another removal spell here. Okay, sure. Now the awkward part is if I want to pressure their... Now if I play another Krasis out, the Vivien can downtick and kill the Krasis and survive. Yeah, the fact that they're manually tapping is definitely a little bit of a tilt. I think, like, I really wish I would have drawn another spell this turn so I could, like, Deputy plus something else. I think because I just have nothing going on, I have to just do this for 5. Yikes. If they take the Vivien up again here and, like, find another Phoenix, the Krasis, the Deputy does punish that line, which is nice. Silly conservative play. They draw a removal spell. Yikes. And they get to fart the Growth Chamber Guardian and play a second one here. What do I really want to draw? Like a removal spell? That is super aggressive. Okay, what if I double block here? If I single block, I take 4, 8, 11, 12 and go to 1. And then, like, this kills this on the backswing. I think that's the line. Hey, Tater Tat, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I think I'm just hoping to, like, draw a Krasis or another removal spell here. If they play out this other Growth Chamber Guardian, like, this picks up 2 of them. This kills Vivien. Turn those off. All right.
I always survive. You'll see.
So it's a 7-8. If I play this, I gain 4, right? No, that's not true. I gain 3, which is fine. Leaves me not dead on board. All right, this is a bridge to stabilization here. If they rip a blank here, we could start getting back on the board. I can't figure out what's more tilting. The fact that they, like, ripped the out there, or the fact that they keep manually tapping. Ugh. It's probably the fact that they keep manually tapping. Man, if they hadn't hit the lightning strike there, we get to untap with a 6/6. We get to Deputy of Detention, their Rekindling Phoenix token, so that goes away forever. And then we get to Wildgrowth Walker plus gain another 3. I feel like they should put all the people who manually tap in their own queue so they can play slow miserable arena against other people playing slow miserable arena. It's like, let's quarantine them so they don't infect the rest of the population. The problem is that Q would never fire because it's too slow. Good. It would let them know that they're a problem manually tapping and they need to adjust and accumulate and adapt to the rest of the world. It'd be like a smoker section, yep. You go to disable the auto tapper and like it pops up a download link for Magic Online and they're like, hey, it looks like you want to play Magic from 2 decades ago. Have you tried Magic Online? It's great for that. Bugler sounds great. Sparky pops up. He's like, yo, dog. Heard you like to manually tap. Have you considered my partner application, Magic the Gathering Online? Yeah, that sounds great. Would love to have that removal spell in the tank. Yikes! I guess that's the first. I guess that's the first time we've missed on that today, so. I just had someone that doesn't know how the auto tapper works DM me in private. They're like, whoa, bro, they're playing unclaimed territory. Unclaimed territory is bad with the auto tapper. The reason why the auto tapper is ingenious and fantastic is because I can still manually tap here even if the auto tapper's off. So the only reason to turn the auto tapper off is if you're terrified of change and bettering your life and the lives of others. Maybe I'm supposed to shock this in Conclave Tribunal here. Like, again, like, fear and uncertainty of change is, like, a big part of what makes people not use things like the auto tapper. Like, if you understand how the tool works, there's really no meaningful reason to ever turn it off. Oh, I think they're on full control mode and we're about to get wrathed. I think they have a status statue here. The nice part about this happening here is I finally get to concede and stop playing with their slow, miserable playing. Yeah, I think this archetype's fine. I think it's actually very reasonable against the Nexus of Fate / Wilderness Reclamation decks. I think the one part where this archetype really struggles is against Sultai, and I don't think there's anything meaningful you can do to change this archetype other than playing a different deck to make the Sultai matchup better. The Sultai deck just has very similar tools to what this deck has, but with things like Fine Finality and Hostage Taker, it just goes long better in a way that this archetype just can't keep up with. Arc Harry, thanks for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping